Hello, and thank you for joining me on Building Lore, where I'm going to build some Lego projects or other buildable projects while we talk about the lore behind the characters, the ships, and the locations from all of our favorite fandoms. Today I'm going to be building the Executor Star Destroyer from this Lego line. I really enjoyed building it, and let's get into talking about one of my favorite ships. The Executor class star dreadnought, commonly referred to as Super Star Destroyer, was designed and put into production sometime before the Battle of Yavin. In Legends continuity, this class of ship was designed by Lyra Wessex and her group, also responsible for the Venator and Imperial class destroyers. The design of the Executor class had a more angled bow and was intentionally designed to strike fear in those who saw it. The first of the class, which shared the name of the design, Executor, finished production shortly before the Battle of Yavin. Built in the orbital shipyards of Kuwait at the aptly named Kuwait Drive Yards, with credit also going to Fondor Shipyards, very original. Imperial records indicated 13 Superstar Destroyers were constructed before the destruction of the second Death Star. However, New Republic officials debate whether 13 is an official number or Imperial propaganda. Officially, records exist for the destroyed Executor, the Ravager, which now rests upside down on the desert planet Jakku. 3 Superstar Destroyers were captured by the New Republic, and another 5 were destroyed in the months following the destruction of the second Death Star, due to limited crew sizes, escort ships, and maneuverability. 1 Superstar Destroyer was captured by pirates and serves as their base in wild space. The Arbitrator was destroyed when poor hyperspace calculations caused it to fly into a black hole while evading the New Republic. The Emperor's personal Superstar Destroyer, the Eclipse, mysteriously vanished from record. Fan calculations put the cost at 325 billion credits, meaning Elon Musk could afford to build 2. At a length of 19,000 meters, just short of 12 miles for the Americans, the Superstar Destroyer had a max speed of 40 megalights per hour, thanks to 13 Executor 50X engines. The massive vessels were equipped with a primary Class 1 hyperdrive and a Class 10 backup. Titanium reinforced alu steel made up the hull, while KDY deflector domes provided shielding. Navigation systems and long-range sensors were also equipped. The Super Dreadnoughts maintained an armament that could rip through any fleet in the galaxy. Each vessel possessed over 5,000 turbolasers, with 750 twin heavy turbolaser batteries, 1,000 turret-mounted twin light turbolasers, and 250 turret-mounted quad laser cannons. For comparison, Imperial-class Star Destroyers were equipped with 6 heavy turbolasers, 2 quad turbolasers, 5 defensively placed turbolasers, and 60 heavy turbolaser emplacements. The Super Dreadnoughts also carried 125 concussion missile launchers and 2 battleship ion cannons. If their size or armament weren't enough to freeze any opponent with fear, the complement of TIEs they carried could swarm any resistance. Over 1,000 TIE series starfighters were stationed aboard each Superstar Destroyer, between TIE fighters, bombers, and interceptors. Assault shuttles, transport shuttles, dropships, and other support craft numbered in the hundreds. 50 all-terrain scout transports, 24 all-terrain armored transports made up the armored garrison. Each dreadnought maintained a crew of 280,000 officers, pilots, and enlisted. 38,000 stormtroopers made up the mobile garrison, as well as a complement of both support and attack droids. At full encumbrance, they carried 105,000 tons and 6 years of consumables. When the Executor entered service, it saw combat almost immediately within a few months of the destruction of the first Death Star at the Battle of Mako Ta, where they tracked the Rebel fleet to a space dock, and the Rebel fleet only survived thanks to the sacrifices of General Draven. The Executor would next see combat at the Battle of Hoth, followed by several skirmishes and engagements throughout the War of the Bounty Hunters, and would ultimately meet its end at the Battle of Endor. By 4 ABY, the Executor served as the flagship of the fleet protecting the second Death Star at the remote moon of Endor. The Executor itself took clearance requests from any ship coming into the system. However, piloting an RZ-1A wing, Green Leader Arvel Krynid was badly damaged by fire from the forward batteries. However, Krynid was able to maintain enough control to direct his ship into the unshielded bridge, killing everyone. Many debate whether this was caused by Piet's hubris or negligence, but what continued was a series of catastrophic failures. Before the secondary command bridge could regain control of the ship, the Executor listed to port and collided on the Death Star 2's surface. The Executor and her stories are featured in the Marvel Star Wars comic series, as well as Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, and others. It is first introduced on the big screen in The Empire Strikes Back and meets its end in Return of the Jedi. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me for other installments of Building Lore.